Folks, welcome to a different type of video. I haven't done this one before. This is where I take a piece of forum feedback and I kind of address it. Interestingly, the reason why this has been posted to YouTube is as I was going through this on stream, as I normally do, the forum user actually came into my chat to have a discussion with me. Now, I don't know if somebody tipped him off that I was talking about his post or not. I'm not sure how he ended up in my stream, but he was in my stream and I thought I'd have a conversation. So I understand it's not the best representation of everyone's opinions and arguments on this subject, but I did want to showcase it you because I'm always doing this on stream. I just don't post it. And this time I figured I'd try and post it. Let me know what you think. I'd love to see more of you in the stream. I'm always streaming each day on twitch.tv/GGZII. I'd love to see you in there a little bit more often if you could. That'd be fantastic. And the forum user said the Gib range was fine, the UPA's fine, movement speed and everything's fine, reaction shots, all that type of stuff, the whole wraparound shots, they're all fine. And obviously I massively disagree with that, and the reason I was responding was he included a quote in his post explaining how I think the Gib range isn't the problem. I felt like that misrepresented me because that quote was kind of taken out of context. I was discussing why the Gib range being big or small alters the game, and it was kind of taken out of context to sort of back up his point. Has he converted you? Were his views right? Were my views right? Is there a balance in between? It's just a discussion. I thought I'd showcase it because it's definitely like the other end of the spectrum. It was kind of like, I'm not skilled enough to do wraparound shots and all the fancy movement. Therefore, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. So the beginning of the video is going to start with me discussing some hypothetical situations, a few drawings, reading through the forum post, trying to figure out what this user's saying. Then I'm going to come up with my own responses, my own sort of drawings, testings, gameplay examples, and then I'm going to have another chat at the end. So that's kind of how the flow of the video is going to go. Just let me know, stick with it. It's a bit of a longer video, but maybe you'll find it interesting. Alright, I'll read this because I got tagged in it. For as long as I can remember with Gears 5, there's been endless back and forth of whether the Gib range should be shortened or made longer. I know there's always been weird Nasher moments, but I feel like it's worse in Gears 5. I don't believe the Gib range is the issue. There's just something that influences how people play. As people such as Z has explained, I've not said that the Gib range isn't the issue. As Z have explained in more detail, you could set a Gib range to 1 meter and people would be shooting from 1.1. You could set the Gib to 1000, people would be shooting from 1001. Yeah, but 1 makes you get really, really up close. I don't know why he's using me as a quote. Like, the reason why I think it's an issue is if you set it to 100 meters, the Gib range, yes, people would step to 101. But when you put it really, really short, yeah, people still step in. People still do that step. But the difference is you have to be way, way closer. But all of it's irrelevant anyway, because the netcode's shit. So what's the point? Like, you could fix the entire game and it would still be shit because it's on a shit netcode. And I already linked this video on the forum before. However, for this, I just want to highlight a very small section. That link should begin at 30:55. Please see my test between Gears 4 and 5. Just firing the Nash with the right trigger held down eliminated the chance of human error. This was tested back in Gears and had only 6 shots, but please pay attention. Gears 5 is slightly slower. Surely this can only mean that it's taking longer between shots. I feel like this is the biggest factor. People are feeling that there's a Gib range issue. It feels like it takes too long to be able to fire the Nasher again, thus allowing people to walk into Gib range. And point blank you. I don't watch these videos. By the way, this Daniel guy said on the forums the other day that he thinks he said I'm propaganda. Personally, I feel like the UPA is pretty much worthless. Like, what? Alright, the ultimate statement is, if the Gib range doesn't change gameplay, then why did everybody shotgun dance on 4.11? Yeah, there's always going to be that guessing of the Gib range, but if the Gib range is so short, if someone's 1000 meters and 1001, you can't really judge that. There's no reference point. But on Gears, if it gets closer, you think to yourself, I'm right in his chest. It's visual. You know, it's much better. Whereas with a big Gib range, you kind of like, you can't judge it because you can't tell how far away from you. I mean, it started the timer already and he hasn't shot yet. I mean, that's when you've finished, right? All of the bullets are empty. So that's when there's 6 bullets gone. So it's about 5.3 again. He's saying it's 5.8 versus 5. I don't know where he's getting it. Right, whatever. Let's say his numbers are correct. What's his point?
Paul, now you're just picking. They've clearly just slowed the game down in general, haven't they? They've slowed down the movement speed. They've slowed down the fire rate of the Nasher. They've obviously slowed down the fire rate of the Lancer as well. It's completely fair.
I don't get it.
Just for clarity, I did that Lancer test based on a full clip to the reload bar, and I'm only able to spot it because I'm looking frame by frame while editing, and there's a frame margin between the reload bar.
I'm not understanding his point about the shotgun delay. So we've watched the video. There, it's 5.1 again, 5.07 shot to shot, 5.04. Oh, you can't see my time code, but oh yeah, you can. It's here. It's exactly the same shot to shot, basically. Gears 5 is slightly slower. This can only mean that it's taking longer between shots. This is the biggest factor when people are feeling that the Gib range is the issue. If you're in a completely white room with nothing in it, you're just in a test room, and there's a locust here, there's a locust here, and there's a locust here. If it was like 100-meter Gib range, that's why I feel like people step in and misjudge, and then this guy might step in into 100 and blow you away. Whereas if it's up close, just from like a visual point, a brand new player just knows, oh, I've got to get really close to the dude. Whereas like the bigger it gets, you know, am I in that gap? Am I out of that gap? Am I in it? So that's why I feel like it should be a lot smaller, because otherwise you end up like this. You're dancing around, and then you accidentally step in and you're like, shit, that was Gib range. That was Gib range, fuck. Am I about to touch this line? Oh, I don't know, am I? You know, all you need to know is, yo, am I in his face or not? I don't think the speed of the shotgun or anything like that has a bigger play. I feel like that's what the problem is, and also obviously shitty netcode. Like shitty netcode doesn't help as well, because you could be dancing around in this Gib range and be like, oh, I'm fine. But this guy might have just moved. He might have just moved a frame in, and now all of a sudden you've touched it and you're in Gib range and you're dead, and you're like, what? Bring the Gib range in, and then at least there's a bigger gap and you see them coming, and then you're like, oh shit, he's coming for the Gib, time to back off. Whereas now because the Gib's so big, you don't even see that movement. When you get in this situation here, I never get to see him move in. He just Gibs me from this distance. Yes, there's a bit of lag, but if the Gib range was a lot smaller and he was lagging, my brain would go, oh shit, he's stepping in to kill me. It's time for me to back off. However, what happened in real time was I saw the guy, poked him, I stepped in and began to pull back. And before I could check, is this guy about to step in and now have an attempt to Gib me? Or are we about to start shotgun dancing from distance? I don't get to see him step in, because the Gib range is so big that, yeah, there's no step in and then you die. I should now see, for a good few frames, him begin to walk forwards. Right, he's beginning to blow me up. Instead, it's just a tiny step in that you just can't visually see clear enough, and bang, he's in range and you die. If he stepped in and I could recognize it, and I stepped out and he shoots, that means he doesn't Gib me and I haven't Gibbed him, and then the fight continues, and that's how you get the shotgun dancing. Whereas now it's just this pixel guessing. I feel like I probably shouldn't have mentioned Gib range as my supporting point. I was trying to say how firing first is too much of a disadvantage now. Well, I feel like that's always been Gears. A skilling, like people call it noobish, a skill in Gears is holding your shot, but the skill used to be holding your shot because you were confident that you knew the small Gib range. So you basically would walk in, be like, you're not in Gib range and you're panicking. You would make the guy panic because he wouldn't quite know the Gib range because he wasn't quite as experienced. He'd panic, he'd shoot you, and quote, you'd sponge, but really you didn't sponge because you were like, you'd misjudged that Gib range, mate, and then you step in and blow him away. because that's what it was all about. It kind of was about holding your shot and making them, like, you run at the guy, you walk at the guy, and you're like, bro, you're about to panic, and then he shoots, and then you're like, yeah, now I'm stepping in. But now you can't do that, because it's just, yeah, there's this pixel Gib range guessing malarkey that goes on. Or I think you said the UPA was useless. Yeah, the UPA is worthless. So what's worthless about the UPA? I mean, I've got a clip here, for example, that happened today. I go in, I poke him from distance, so he rolls, and I recognise that's a chance to land a hard aim because he's done a set animation. You know, we've also got the problem in this game that before he's even finished his roll, he can run, which is a problem in itself, but, you know, let's pretend that's not there. A hard aim in, shoot again, and then back A, and within I think we counted out on stream, it was 9 to 10 frames, I'm up A move speed. I wouldn't say that the up A is useless, I would say it's incredibly broken. I would say that basically, if you're in a bad situation and you're not sure you can get a kill, if you blind up A them, I know you can be back aid, but I mean, I'm not even saying this is the perfect example, Livo. I'm just saying that he zips in, and then because he up A's off it, like you see the speed he's traveling at off the up A as he kills me. Watch him here. Sets off at light speed, he's gone. If you're in any bad situation, you can't go too far wrong with an up A. So, I mean, to say it's worthless, like, I would say is definitely wrong. You can, like, look at a clip like this, you know. This isn't even the best example because I'm just clicking through random stuff I've got saved. But you can see here, you know, you can very quickly just kind of up A someone. It's pretty dominant. Like, even if I was sat here, if somebody up A'd me, maybe they don't quite get me there, but even sitting that far back, you're still questioning, is he going to one-shot me? I mean, I would say, to say it's worthless. If it's worthless, there's like no situation that it's worth doing. Like, you would choose to do any other maneuver over that. Since Operation 4, I never found myself using the up A. Well, I don't know, maybe your playstyle just doesn't fit with it or something, but I would not say it's useless. Before Node left, he was working on a trial build where each roll, they were creating a movement system, so each roll was independent, meaning that they wanted maybe forward rolls to be slower, so you couldn't just straight noob roll at somebody, but back and side rolls to be slightly quicker, so you could maybe, like, you know, and also removing the massive delay on the shot. You know, you can see here, you can hear me clicking. It's the shot, like, is barely coming out. But yeah, I was just reading the forum post and I saw that you said that the Gib range was fine and the up A was fine. And that's really all I've discussed, but you said you disagree with some things. We disagree that some things are a problem versus not a problem. I presume you mean the shotgun speed. Well, I mean, I had a good look at it and tested it. I feel like it's at best identical. If we go off your numbers, it's less than half a second slower. Half a second slower on an entire full clip free fired. And nobody shotgun fights whilst holding a full clip right triggered, so the difference I feel like is negligible. Like, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just trying to hear your viewpoint, you know, because obviously we all play the game in a different way, and I think it's at a decent spot, the Gib range. The Nasher speed over the full clip would be about half a second, and although nobody plays with their left trigger held down, that's making it fire at a faster rate. The up A I personally see no issue with, if they make sure the speed boost goes well. Am I okay with the up A? If visually the bullets come out of the end of the barrel and the Gib range isn't enormous and you get no speed, yeah, but currently the up A as a package is that. And it's you can do this on every corner and you're going to get a lot of kills, and I feel like what it does as well, forget if it's successful or not, I feel like it really takes away the satisfaction of a Gib. Like, getting a Gib in Gears is meant to be a big moment, and it's, yeah, you don't feel much when you get a Gib now these days. I think the Gib range is in a shocking spot, personally. In it, like, if you look at the game in like a vacuum, technically everything's fine, you know, the Gib range could be 50 foot and everything could be fine, but I feel like what ends up happening with the Gib range and the up A and all of these boosts is the end product of the fights are just these monotonous one-shots, you know. It makes the game feel very unfun, very bland. Most fights are over in a split second, really. So I guess that's like the sticking point, isn't it? Like, you feel that the Gib range is fine because it's not that big, which I understand, you know, but even though it's not that big, I think it has like a knock-on effect. Personally, I like the wraparound shot, not for the sake of doing it on every corner, but I like using it to get somebody who's camping behind corner. Well, I think, like, again, I guess this is where we just disagree. I feel like the wraparound, you know, I'm fine with the wraparound if you wrap around and then your gun turns. So the person on the other end knows he's going to wrap you, but what you can do, I mean, I can't do it because I'm on a PC and I'm not very good at it, but you can, you know, I'm shooting there whilst still running in a straight line. You can't react to it. I feel like the Gib range, wrap shots, all this, it just has this knock-on effect of making the game very boring. You're also sort of, in a way, bending the bullet / center screening them, because you sort of, the way you sort of wrap them is you sort of aim with the center of your screen. But they also got rid of center screen aiming because they didn't like the way it visually didn't represent to the player, so you don't look at someone's barrel. I mean, I like center screen aiming, but if you're going to get rid of center screen aiming and all of the good things it brings to the game, you then can't also include a wrap shot, I feel like. That's where I'd bring in the skill element. I don't think a wrap shot is some high-level mechanical play. I just think it has no readability, and it's I think people vastly overestimate, if I'm just being honest, how difficult certain things are. Like, for example, people think bouncing is this super skilled thing, when if you watch most bounce montages, most of the time they're just bouncing like this for no reason, and then they just up A, and the kill could have been gained just by wobbling in. I see people doing this kind of stuff in Foundation the whole time, you know. They're bouncing like this, you know, and then they'll blow somebody up, but it was unneeded. It wasn't necessary. Like, if I was to be real, I feel like it's an indication that the game isn't very skilled, because people are so used to just one-shotting everybody that they're like, oh, this game's like too boring, too easy to just one-shot everybody, so I better do some moves before I do the one-shot. And I don't, it's a redundant movement to look cool. Sometimes it's not redundant, there are some legitimate uses for it, but a lot of the time it's a redundant movement because the actual game has no skill. If the game was an actual difficult shooter to play, like aiming wise, mechanic wise, map control, pacing like it used to be, I don't think you'd need to do a wrap shot, because simply killing somebody would be tough enough that you wouldn't need to think, oh, I'll do a wrap shot to style on him. It used to be like just winning the 2v1 was enough, and people would watch that play and be like, yeah, I respect that he won the 2v1, regardless of if it was a two-piece or a waddle or a strafe. People were like, nice play. Whereas now people accept that the game is so boring and so easy to do that people want to see, you know, a bit of wall bouncing before they basically kill somebody or do a wrap shot. And it is, like they say, like Owen says, or Infinitum in chat, it's like a redundant movement. It's like spamming APM. And what I mean by that, if for people that don't know what I'm talking about, in StarCraft you obviously press your keys, and a lot of the time they would flick between random buttons for no reason other than to basically spam their screen to get a high number to look impressive. But the actual action they were doing had no relevance to the outcome. Effective APM versus actual APM, exactly. For me, it used to be I'd watch montages because the actual kill was just straight up difficult to get. I know we're on a different topic here, but kind of leads into it. I would watch people get kills just because I was like, wow, that was an impressive kill. Whereas now, you just kind of like, when I watch my own montages, I just run in, flank, get 5 one-shots. People find it boring, so they want to see, you know, they want to see a bit of hyper bouncing. They want to see somebody going like this off every single wall for no reason, you know, and then doing a wrap shot when if the game was actually well-tuned, balanced, good Gib range, you wouldn't be doing all that, and you wouldn't, you know what I mean? You wouldn't even miss it if it went, because you'd just be trying to kill the guy. But yeah, I guess that's just where we disagree. For me personally, I think people vastly overestimate how difficult bouncing wrap shots and this stuff is. Most of the time when it's used, it, like they say, it's redundant. But, well, I guess that's like speaking to you. I can see where your viewpoint's coming from. You said that I respect your point, but I prefer something different, and that's the thing for me. All of the things that you enjoy seem to, well, in my opinion, take away from all of the stuff I enjoy. So wrap shot, wall bouncing, up A speed, up A in general, you know, these are things that you're happy with, big Gib range, whereas for me, they're detrimental to the franchise. For me, it's not an argument of which is skilled. I don't care about that. I don't care if hyper bouncing is skilled or not. It's just, it's the knock-on effect it has to the franchise. Like, hyper bouncing can be the most skilled thing in the world, or strafing can. I don't really care. I just want to play some gears in a style that I enjoy. And the style that I feel like all those things we just discussed that you like promote a very unfun style, a very like unmemorable style, and I don't think I don't think TC should make everybody happy. I think they should pick a style and go with it. They just pick their style, classic or not classic, and really accentuate those points, whereas at the moment they're constantly trying to find a middle ground and there isn't one. Yeah, at worst, even if it all works, even if all of those tools work perfectly and they are skilled, for me it's a visual mess. I don't know, I guess that's my opinion. I just wanted to respond when I was reading the thread, because I felt like when you quoted me, it was kind of a quote to like back up your point, when I feel like we quite clearly like disagree. Alright folks, it's way too late. Alright, I'm gonna head off, yo. Thanks everybody tuning in. I will catch you tomorrow. There has been one person on a mission to fix the game. GGZII started out from nothing and he began to build the Sicario. He's built his way up to 10,500. He's made over 1,000 YouTube videos. He's created discussion like no other. He's done it all. Let's roll some clips. See exactly what GGZII is about. Let's think about subscribing. Let's think about joining the YouTube Nation. Let's think about joining the Sicario. The home for gamers. Every single month get exclusive in-game loot, free games, and a free subscription to your favourite content creator. Plus everything else that's included with Amazon Prime. Get a 30-day free trial today. Click that button. Go on, click it. Click. 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 Go on.